Hello, everyone. Zalendo, good morning.
Good morning, Kaka. I mean, I didn't know that we are on air, but thank you very much. Good morning, Brother Ben.
You are not prepared to be on air, brother.
I was not really prepared to start this early, this show, because we normally start at midnight.
I.
Now, yeah.
All right. How have you been?
No, I've been surviving, basically surviving mambo ya hapa na pale,
Mm.
pilka pilka za huku. Mhm.
Kwa Kiswahili na lugha ya mtaa tunasema kwamba unatafuta mchongo.
Unatafuta
Mchongo.
mchongo.
Kuna wale ambao wanaita unatafuta mchongo, kuna wale wanasema kwamba unatafuta mtonyo. Ina tofauti, kila mtu ako na utofauti wake ya kuisema. Yeah, kuna
Mm.
wale ambao wanatafuta mtonyo, kuna wale ambao
Kweli kweli, niko nyuma. Kiswahili Wajaluo wanasema Kiswahili si mdomo chetu. Mm.
kilikuja na basi kutoka kule Mombasa.
Ilikuja na basi kutoka kule Mombasa. Mara yangu kwanza kwenda Mombasa, mimi nina historia tamu sana na hii Mombasa. Mombasa
Ushawahi?
mara yangu. Wewe umeishi Mombasa
Mimi sijawahi fika Mombasa.
au hujawahi? Basi mimi nimekaa pale, nilianza na pale inaitwaje pale Likoni,
Oh.
mali ingine inaitwa Likoni, stage inaitwa Kawerera. Mm.
Oh.
Kawerera pale nilikuwa kijana barubaru kabisa,
Mm.
na nikawa, hiyo ni stori ndefu bwana, na ni stori tamu sana, na ni
Mm.
stori ya mapenzi na stori ya mambo mingi pale.
Oh.
Eh,
Ni,
na ni hadithi ndefu, pengine
ni,
watazamaji wala nasikia wanajua hiyo story kabisa, hiyo story yangu na Likoni.
eh,
Nikakuwa nafanya biashara moja inaitwa aina ya ship chandling, yani nilikuwa chandler.
hiyo ndio
Unajua
nini?
mtu anaitwa chandler. Chandler ni mtu, meli ikifika pale kwa docks, anaiservice, unaipatia kama wale wanabaharia wanataka sigara, wanataka mboga, wanataka
Yeah.
chakula, unapewa hiyo order, unaenda unawaletea, unapewa hela zako. Hiyo ndio
Mm.
inaitwa ship chandling. So
Ah.
tulikuwa pale
Mhm.
na kakangu moja hapo, eh, tuna sisi ni vijana, sisi ni vijana, lakini vijana chap chap kabisa.
Vijana.
Baadaye hapo mimi,
Mm.
unajua nimetoka kule Nairobi, najua hawa jamaa wa Mombasa kweli ni wamelalia masikio, ni mafala kweli.
Kwa
Poleni
nini?
sana kama watazamaji wa Mombasa, kama mnanisikia. Hiyo ni kitambo sana, tutaedit hiyo pale.
Mbona unaita watu wa Mombasa mafala bwana?
Sasa wacha nikwambie kwa nini nilikuwa naita mafala kweli.
Mm.
Sasa mimi pale nikaangalia tena ni biashara gani naweza fanya.
Mm.
Nikaanza biashara ya kuuza viatu,
Mm.
na nikaona kuna upungufu. Hao watu wa Mombasa wananiambia wanaenda Kikomba kuleta viatu pale Mombasa.
Mm.
Hawana habari ya kuwa meli ya kuleta viatu inatua pale Mombasa, na go down ya viatu zote
Mm.
za Kenya mzima ziko hapo nyuma yao, hapo tu docks hapo.
Eh.
So
Mm.
hapo tulikuwa tunaenda hapo, forgotten the name. Naenda hapo napata watu wa Nairobi wanachagua viatu, wanaziweka kwa bale, wanazipeleka zinaenda Nairobi. Mimi nachukua top cream zile kamera, naambia
Mm.
nipe hii kaka, hii usipeleke, hao jamaa hata wajui hizi vitu zinaenda huko, wewe
Mm.
nipatie hizi. So nikakuwa nachukua viatu pale, ninaziuza pale, hiyo zile mapembe mbili, pembe inaitwa pembe ndovu, sijui pembe ngani.
Mimi sijui,
Zile pembe zinakuwa pale ni Moi Avenue ama ni ya I think ni Kenyatta Avenue.
mimi sijawahi. Unajua mimi
Hujakuwa Mombasa, so nikawa naziuza pale.
mm,
Mimi naweza sema kwa hakika nilikuwa oka wa kwanza kuuza viatu Mombasa, viatu
ninyi watangulizi
watangulizi.
mm.
Nikafungua branch pale Bamburi kwa factory. Wale jamaa wa factory wakitoka pale wakipata mshahara hivi, napata hela mzuri kabisa pale Coast. Tulikuwa napata hela mzuri kabisa 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 pale Coast bwana. Na hiyo ni maisha.
Hiyo ni unajua mimi ni mzaliwa wa Migori. Nimekulia Migori kidogo. Nairobi nimeenda tu kutembeleana. Lakini mimi wakati ambapo sasa nimeingia katika shule ya upili, sana sana naweza sema kwamba nimekuwa Kisumu. Kisumu nimekuwa kwa naweza sema Kisumu ni kama nyumbani. Tunaishi katika mtaa moja tulikuwa tunaiita kwamba tunaishi Lower Milimani. So unasema ukienda kama unaenda Lower Milimani unasema kwamba unaenda Nyalenda, kwa sababu ilikuwepo milimani hapo kwa wadosi, alafu ukipita milimani unaingia kwa
So
slums hapo.
pale acha nikutatize kidogo. Pale Nubian ni watu gani wanaishi pale?
Sasa Nubian haiko huko sehemu za Nyalenda. Nubian iko huku, ni kama unakuja Nubian ukikuja Shauri Moyo hapo, unaona huko, na ukienda na
Pale karibu sasa unafika stage ya basi hapo juu.
kuna Nubian
Beograda, unajua Beograda Hotel maliko. Kuna
si
kanjia hapo.
sasa hapo ukiwa Nubian kuna inakaribiana na Makasembo hapo, Nubian Makasembo.
Bas, hapo tulikuwa na nyumba hapo Nubian hapo. So Kisumu pia nimeishi kidogo lakini sikufurahia. Endelea.
So hapo ndo sasa unapata sikiza hapo Makasembo unapata wanajenga hizo affordable housing. Na pia ya Lumumba pia iko pale, unaona. Pia Shauri Moyo, unaona. So ni Kisumu tumekaa, nikaenda chuo pale, nikapata kazi pale. Sasa mimi maisha yangu yote imekuwa katika Kisumu. Ni tamu, ni county, tunaisifia. Tunasema kwamba Kisumu imetulea. Ukituona sisi tumelelewa Kisumu hapo. Hata ukitembea Oginga Odinga Street hapo, ulikuwa unaingia asubuhi ukienda kutafuta kazi. Kweli Oginga Odinga Street najua, like uko hapo. Baada ya hapo nikakuja nikapata kazi katika ofisi fulani hapo. Kwanza nilipata kazi katika benki fulani, nikapata kazi tena pia ofisi ingine hapo. So mimi ni mwenyeji wa Kisumu. Mimi ni mwenyeji wa Kisumu. Okay, sawa.
Nimekubali.
Kisumu, na pia unajua Kisumu pia tuko na tunaweza sema kwamba lugha yetu rasmi ambayo sisi tunatumia sana sana tunachanganisha ndimi, kwa tunaweza sema tuchanganishe Kiswahili na tuweke Kijaluo ndani na vile vile tuweke lugha ya Kimombo. Unajua Kisumu iko na Kiswahili chake chenyewe. Hakuna tena town nyingine iko na Kiswahili rasmi yake kama Kisumu. Kisumu tulikuwa na Kiswahili chetu tunaizungumzia. Mtu anaweza kuja toaje bwana, koridhi majuu, ni Kiswahili na imechanganishwa na lugha ya Kijaluo.
Hizi nade
Toaje bwana,
Miyagi Moromayang.
jama ti wacho nang'o,
Jama
jama anadhi tao, ni kombi
adhi Mboka.
Sasa ukisema Mboka, unajua Mboka ni Kisumu.
Adhi Mboka, hiyo ndio unasikia watu wengi walikuwa wanasema adhi Mboka.
Mboka ni Kisumu.
Mboka sasa ndio Kisumu town.
No, Kisumu sana sana ukisema kwamba naenda Mboka unaenda Kisumu. Na pia Kisumu unajua iko na jina mingi.
kuna jamaa ati Igori Dusla.
Igori Noma, ndio hiyo Kisumu, lugha yetu hiyo.
Kuna rafiki yangu moja hapa
Eh,
anaitwa Bwana Upande bana, kama unasikia
eh,
huyo ndio jamaa wako Ugori Dusla.
yeah, so ndio hiyo Kisumu,
Eh,
lakini kama saizi kuna like right now in Kisumu there are around 3 events that are going to take place, and
mm.
Kisumu, there are few people there that are nurturing talents right now in Kisumu, especially when it comes to modeling. They're doing amazing job because they want to revive that hub. We have one of the ladies called Winnie Wenga Walcott has a modeling an event that is going to take place in May 30th. Then we have also Tony Cruz also has one. Miss Kisumu 2025-2026 is also taking place also in May, early May. Then we also have one guy called John Ogada also has a modeling that is going to take place, I think in March, is Humble Africa. So these guys are just promoting talent, especially in entertainment. Wameingilia, tunasema kwamba kwa wana wa mtindo, um, the modeling, especially how the modeling industry sometimes there's a way people view it, like ni wahuni, labda wale ambao wanafanya modeling ni wahuni na vitu kama hizo, lakini these people have come out to promote the talents of young people in Kisumu. So if you're in Kisumu and if you need those tickets, you can reach out to Winnie, Tony, and John Ogada to see how talents are being nurtured.
Wow, that's a good venture, especially for the youth. I mean, these are young people to keep themselves busy, and they have chosen the right thing to do. So if you're out there and you've had those events, make sure that you make a date and visit some of these places
Yeah,
where they are showcasing design, where they are showcasing various art skills. So make sure you make a date with those events.
yeah. If you're in Kisumu, just reach out to
Yeah,
us.
for people in Kisumu, and even if you are in
Nairobi.
traveling and visiting Kisumu and you're bored, those are places that you can hang out with friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mzalendo, for coming in. There are quite a few things that we want to have a conversation and at least to share our views with those who are listening to us this morning, this Sunday morning. I know there are quite a number of Kenyans who are preparing to go to church, and those who also went to church on Saturday. So if you are there and you're listening to us and you are new in our channels, you can subscribe to Afric 24 together with the brother Benson Media so that when we go live, especially and having such like conversation, the YouTube will notify you. This is Brother Benson and we am with Mr. Mzalendo. Mzalendo, there was a conversation, especially this week when Babu Owino had an opportunity to be hosted in Kameme FM. I think it was in the morning breakfast or drive show that usually happens in the morning. And Kameme FM is one of those stations that has a huge listeners, especially when you go to the mountain. And Babu Owino was having an interview there. In the process of interview, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua called and they had a conversation. One of them, Rigathi Gachagua, told him, "My son." Babu Owino replied, "Father," and But this is politics. If Rigathi Gachagua can make a call when Babu Owino is on the show, that's huge. And there are quite a number of interpretation or analysis that people are giving. So from where you sit, what do you pick from that phone call, especially in that interview?
Thank you for that question, brother Ben. One thing that I didn't listen to the conversation, but I've gone through the social media's platforms
Yeah,
where various people are commenting on the phone call.
yeah,
But this tells you one thing about the reports on the call between Rigathi Gachagua and Babu Owino.
mm,
Uh, that is an interesting conversation. It also reminds the general public uh, that politics is not that rigid
mhm,
as they appear in public.
yeah,
These people, they talk in private, and as much as you want to kill somebody because they are supporting candidate X, these politicians, they do talk. In
yeah,
politics, leaders from different camps often communicate privately, even when they disagree in front of the cameras. As you know, such conversations can be about political strategies and so many other things, checking out, whether we are going to work together. And for me, it was a very important call for Babu Owino, and I'm glad he picked up that call. It shows you the maturity of our politics, where we are as politicians. So Babu is in a cosmopolitan
mm,
city of Nairobi. He has to interact with all the communities. And
mm,
those castigating Babu, interestingly, are not even voters from Nairobi.
mhm,
Somebody is complaining about Babu and is in Kilifi or Homa Bay or Siaya or Migori, and they are not going to even help him in any way, you know.
mm.
So that's just a conversation for views when you are on a Facebook page, when you're on TikTok,
Yeah,
for attraction, because the name Babu Owino attracts viewers to come to your channel. So that is the
mm.
more reason why they are interested in the topic.
If I bring you back, I remember when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached, especially Babu Owino kept off. Especially, he did not participate in his impeachment. Actually, he did not even. He was not in the parliament. But there are quite a number of people who are now connecting the dots and say that okay, these two politicians, especially Rigathi Gachagua and Babu Owino, maybe their friendship started. A long time that we did not know. That is one view. There's also those who say that with the politics temperatures right now, because we know Babu Owino is not in the broad-based government, and there's accusation that have always been leveled that they are working with Wamunyoro. What do you want to say for people who are now seeing this as a confirmation of the suspicions or the rumors that people were being rumors that were being peddled on the social media?
I think Babu Owino is doing his politics very well. He's a very good political student. He
Yeah.
has learned from the best, and he has learned from Raila Odinga that there are no permanent enemies in politics. Who knew that one day Raila Odinga could work with the late President Moi? Somebody who detained him and sent him to exile. But they shook hands. Raila folded his party and joined Kanu. Who knew that there will become a time when Uhuru Kenyatta, who was abusing Raila Odinga as Mkorogi and all those kind of names, would walk down Arambe House and shake hands that say that we are now going to work together. Who knew that in 2007, after the post-election violence, that Raila Odinga would work with Mwai Kibaki, an enemy, and some of these things are for the sake of the country. Who knew that William Ruto and Raila Odinga would work? William Ruto used to call Raila Odinga what? Mchawi. Raila used to call him Muizi. And they worked together until his death. And now, what you are talking about is the broad based government that was born as a result of the communication between Rigathi Gachagua with between William Ruto and Raila supporters. So they
Yeah.
have continued saying the same thing. So for Babu Owino, it is a plus. For me, I think he's reading the political script very well,
Mm,
and those of his community, especially the Luos who are
mm,
castigating him, majority of them they don't vote in Nairobi, and they have got no business in Babu's politics. They need to concentrate with their counties, what is happening good in their counties or what is going wrong in the counties that they vote. But for Nairobians who are interested in development and a change in the city, they
yeah.
are concerned and they are interested that Nairobi has to live uh, as a family where we have got the 42 tribes well
Mm,
represented in the area. You cannot discriminate the minority, and you cannot also discriminate the majority tribe, who are the business owners in Nairobi.
mm,
Majority of them are Kikuyus, and fortunately, Babu is in good rapport with the business community, who are largely the Kikuyu community where Rigathi Gachagua comes from. For
mm,
me, it is a political calculation that is very, very right. If you want to talk about the Luo business community in Nairobi, you can count them. Who are they?
mhm.
Who are they that can Babu wants to associate with?
Yeah.
If they can join the Babu train, well and good. We are home and dry. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. But there are also those who believe that this was like an endorsement to Babu, especially when you've also talked about the politics of Nairobi is a cosmopolitan whereby you cannot only rely on the strength of or the numbers of your community. By Rigathi Gachagua encouraging Babu and even telling him to push on the Linda Mwananchi, people the people who are saying this is a very, very, very good opportunity for Babu, especially when you compare him with other competitors who are eyeing that seat of Nairobi, especially from Rigathi Gachagua. If he can back you, you can win very easily.
Yeah, true. True. I mean, we are talking about a voting bloc of over 7 million. If they vote in, if according to the last register, 8.5 million Kikuyus countrywide. In Nairobi, I think they represent maybe close to 2 million because of the proximity to the CBD. Areas like Kiambu, largely the people who are from the Kiambu County, you'll
Mhm.
find that they vote in Nairobi because of the business interests that they have in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And the Thika, for example, majority of them you'll find that they have got businesses and interests in Nairobi, so they vote in Nairobi. And if you go further to places like Kitengela is in Machakos County, but many people work in Nairobi, so they have got interest in Nairobi. So you'll find largely that people in Mavoko they still vote in Nairobi. People in Thika, a good number also vote in Nairobi and Kiambu by extension. So that tells you that Babu Owino has captured the apex of politics in Nairobi. So he's in the right tracks. Those who are trying to derail him to follow the tribal politics, uh, we are in it's called neopolitics, and neopolitics, the politics of the young generation. So you must accept it, or either you are swept with it.
So what about the naysayers, especially the naysayers of Babu Owino, who feel like he's a betrayer, by even talking to Rigathi Gachagua, especially the people from the lake? What would you tell them, or
Yeah,
I what do you share with them?
yeah, thank you, because you mentioned the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Nairobi does not have a lake, so they should need to concentrate on the fish in Lake Victoria, if they have free processing plants in Lake Victoria, if the governor of Kisumu has built a good processing plant, that is what they need to concentrate in. If Gladys Wanga has done a wonderful job in the sugar industry, that is what they need to concentrate. If they have roads in Migori, that is what they need to concentrate on. Nairobi politics, leave it for Nairobians. People who have got business interests in Nairobi, people are residents of Nairobi, people who their children go to school in Nairobi. If your child is going to school in Turugem or Chulaimbo, you have got no interest in Nairobi at all. So just shut up and let the Nairobians do their politics.
Okay, thank you so much. That was okay. Thank you so much. Now, this week also we had an issue in the DCP party where the women rep, that is Hon Maina, was accusing Malala of being a mole, especially because he accuses Malala of meeting some leaders who are allied to Anne Waiguru, and Anne Waiguru is a UDA, uh, member, and he tend to say that Malala might be working for somebody, to be precise, maybe he's working for president in a way to sabotage Rigathi Gachagua. What do you make of that? And what does this one tell you about the DCP party right now?
It simply reveals that thing in there are internal wrangles. Either there are people who feel that Malala is gaining a lot of influence and control in the party, so they want to curtail it to remain a Kikuyu party. That is what I read from Njeri Maina. If he was a nationalist and somebody who does not think of on tribal lines, he should put his accusations on the table and say, Malala, you work with William Ruto, and because of ABCD, we lost the elections because you didn't do ABCD. Ultimately, that would be a good verdict for the DCP party on somebody who they regard as a mole. But if you just come, hizo ndio tunaita kwa Kiswahili ni fitina na finyo. Such accusations uh, are not always seen in public, but they are seen in the corridors of those political parties.
Okay, so but when you flip the coin, also you would also agree with Betty, because when you look at our politics is about interest. Maybe that also could be true if you flip the coin too.
Yeah, it is. For Betty, they are interested. After the fall of Rigathi Gachagua, the Kikuyu community are
Mm,
trying to get their foot back into the main politics. Now, there are many forces pulling out also. Remember, largely the community is still in power. It's
mm,
only Rigathi Gachagua that is not in office. He's the one who was kicked out, but majority of the Kikuyus are still in government. So
yeah,
if you look at the statements of people like Anne Waguru, the Anne Waguru also comes from the same county. So Anne Waguru also said that there is no way that the Kikuyu community are going to the opposition.
yeah,
They are best placed in government, and they cannot leave what they already have and start chasing things that they don't know. You know. So
right,
what are you telling them? Are you telling them that in 2027 they will be in the streets demanding for justice, or they will be demanding for roads while they are in government? Where would they rather be, in government or out of government? So they have got a legit argument about whatever they are saying. And
right.
I feel that other regions, like where you come from, they need to borrow a leaf from the Kikuyu community. They are
Mhm.
in government and they are in the opposition at the same time. So whoever gets the opportunity to serve, it is still a member of the community. People like Vivian, my dear girlfriend there, is really castigating Babu. Or I don't know. Babu Owino is not honest to me by just looking at him. You cannot just judge a book by its cover. You need to open the pages and read it.
Mm.
So, Vivian Pole Sana, uh, don't judge by the cover. You need to read the pages in in that book.
Okay, and never met Babu, never met him. By just looking at him, actions and face, being a Luo woman, he is untrustworthy to me. That is what Vivian, the opinion that Vivian Akinyi have towards Babu Owen. It is called profiling, sir.
I think profiling just lost its meaning there, Vivian.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, when you look at the DCP with all those accusations that is coming, and also I'm not very sure, but you cannot trust the internet. I also saw there was this circulation about Betty Maina joining Jubilee. I'm not very sure. I cannot confirm that. But with what is happening in the politics, whereby we have the mall, especially whereby somebody, the issue of mall that we've been dealing with, we saw that when Gathoni Wamushomba was with the Kenya Moja, then he was fighting, had a language, but now, you know, how are the oppositions, or how should they what no I mean that what are the safeguards they should put in place to
Hmm?
avoid infiltration from outsiders?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who you are calling outsiders. Tell me, are they Tanzanians who are coming to
No, outsiders are the people who you feel are not members of your party,
outsiders? Are the people, and what would they be coming to your party to do?
infiltrating your party, because we've seen people infiltrating these political parties.
I mean, you have no measure and there's no state standard. Siasa si kama kichungi ya chai, utakuwa umetengeneza na majani na uweke
Mm.
kichungi pale, uweke nini, uweke ukuwe na chai. At the end of the day,
But
siasa,
mhm,
unaona, siasa ni kutafuta kura na kuuza sera yako.
mm,
Now watu wale nakuja kwa kampi yako
mm,
hawajui kwanza, kwa sababu wamependezwa na sera yako.
mm,
Utajuaje mimi kama mzalendo nimekuja kwa chama chako na mimi ni msaliti, ama nimekuja mimi natoka camp kile ingine?
mm.
There's no literally there is no way you will know that. I've been in politics, and it is one of the most difficult things to know whether there is somebody from another camp coming into your camp.
But history has proven that there are those who actually come to infiltrate to get the information, then share them with your opponents. That is something that always has happened in the political field.
No, yeah, true. But in real politics, Ben,
Mhm.
you have got your inner circle as a politician. You
Yeah.
don't have, not all the information is shared in the gallery. There
Mm.
is your inner circle. They're the people that you trust. Now, if there is infiltration in this circle, that is
Yeah.
what is so dangerous. But beyond that orbit, then the other circle is your walk-ins, people who just walk into a political party that they feel is selling their agenda well, and they could have they belonged somewhere. DCP is a party that just started this the other day.
Mhm.
There are people in ODM who are feeling like they need to join DCP. They were in ODM. Malala was in UDA. That is a fact. And now they are in DCP. So ni kama transfer window ya mchezo wa soka ikifika, huwezi sema ati huyu player kama sahii tunataka kununua Fernandes. Tukinunua Fernandes hatuwezi sema alituuza kwa sababu alikuwa anachezea Manchester United. So hiyo ni, those are the dynamics of politics, you have to live with them.
Okay, but we agree here that there is usually infiltration, especially from your opponents who would want to weaken you from inside, though.
Sasa ndio nakwambia kama uchaguzi ya kanisa, kuchagua bishop wa kanisa yenyu ndio ina siasa
Mm.
mtumizi wa Mungu. Sasa kwa hii siasa ingine itakuwa namna gani?
Mm. Okay, asante sana. Now, there's also something that happened, but I don't want to so much dive into it, and maybe you can give your overview. We had submission, especially the matter of ODM. So we are waiting for the judgment or delivery of judgment or ruling that is coming on, I think it was on 26th of March. This is concerning Edwin Sifuna and his position as the Secretary General of the party. The ruling might go either way. It can go the Oburu's way or it can go Sifuna's way. But now look at the ruling. The ruling is going to take place around on 25 or 26th, if I'm not wrong. Then the NDC is coming on 27th. What does this one mean, especially for Edwin Sifuna or
Uh,
even Oburu?
Sifuna, you know, currently both houses are being controlled by the broad-based alliance. So anything that is in that house will lean towards the broad-based alliance. That is a fact.
Yes.
Sifuna knows that the NDC is a setup and is not going to attend it.
They have
What we had advised earlier on that we members of ODM will have a parallel NDC, that we will have on our own delegates and choose our own presidential candidate could be Sifuna. We don't really care. So this NDC can go on so long as it is illegal. It is very, very illegal. Let it go on. We will be in court the next day in the morning to stop whatever deliberations that were there.
so
Because the only person who can call the NDC is Sifuna and not the deputy. Go and read the constitution of ODM.
mm,
Yeah.
so why then would you go to court if you both of you are going to call parallel NDC and you know that very well that maybe you have Ostotsi here with you who is a deputy?
Yeah, exactly. Sifuna can call his delegates and call for an NDC. Now that they deliberated that they need an NDC, Sifuna will set the date and call an NDC.
So to whose benefit is it going to be, especially when you're looking at ODM?
You
Is it
know, these are people who are fighting for the soul of ODM. If they cannot work together, they need to find a formula to accommodate Babu Owino and Sifuna into ODM. If they cannot do that, then in chungwa lazima ikatwe mara mbili ama mara tatu.
na ikikatwa mara mbili ama mara tatu, nani anafaidika zaidi?
Wananchi, kwa
Watasema
sababu you are spoiled for choice. Sasa unaona kuna variety. Unajua ukienda saa zingine ukikuwa unakula diet moja kila siku bana, hata si haileti shangwe. Lazima uende usome menu. Menu kuna chungwa baridi, kuna chungwa imewekwa flavored, kuna chungwa spicy na kuna so hizo chungwa zote you will see where you fit na utaenda hivyo. And that is how Ford broke into so many other pieces. And that's how Kalonzo left with his portion and formed his party called the Wiper. I think it was called something else before Wiper came in. And that is why we have, it's called Wetangula. And we have people like in ANC. So Usifuna might move with the people who believe in him and believe in his ideology to form another political movement if he cannot be part of ODM. That's a fact.
but from the look of things and how even the president is talking about
Let me also add before you finish.
Mhm.
Even William, this is a good sign that Susuna will be the president of this country one day.
One day.
Even William Samoei Ruto broke out from ODM and is now the president of Kenya.
Kenya, yeah.
Ukweli?
Ni kweli
Haya, Ruto, Uhuru alitoka chungwa akakuwa rais wa
wa Kenya.
Yeah, so rais wa Kenya atakuwa ni nani?
Edwin.
Sifuna siku moja.
Okay. Sawa sawa, asante, kwa sababu hilo jambo limo kotini, haifai tuongelee sana sana. Okay, mzalendo, there's a big story right now in the nation, and this one is for Raphael Tuju. Raphael Tuju was evicted from his property, that is his business property, and he has been camping in that place. And we've seen quite a number of leaders, especially the Luo leaders, coming and visiting. And there are quite a number of people, especially the young people. I saw one of them were asking, where are the Luo leaders, especially those who are working in the government and those who are very prominent? We are not seeing them standing with Raphael Tuju. And they're saying the son of the soil is left to fight alone. Do you agree with them, or you have a different view?
I think the issue of Tuju, I don't know. I don't know whether to say standing with him is the best thing that you can do for him right now, or bailing him out.
Yeah.
There are so many things that come into my mind.
Mhm.
Whether uh, uh, whether this thing was illegal or illegal. There are all those aspects of there are all those analyses that have been happening. But it is unfortunate for Raphael Tuju. He's been a prominent figure in Kenyan politics for many years.
Mhm.
And these challenges, we all face them in life. But fortunate for him, the community is coming to help him. But many other people
Mhm.
uh, from his community, the community has failed to help them when they are in need. There are people who have lost property, maybe for a mere 20,000 Kenya shillings, and the community could not come to their aid. So it is politics. It is politics, and in politics, the other time Tuju was in a different alliance, and he was not seeing eye to eye with the community. But it is a good gesture that the community can stand with one of their own, and we've seen that in either when there are corruption cases affecting some communities, the members of the communities stand with their own thief.
Mhm.
Whether there is something like for the first time, this is a legal challenge. I am seeing members of the community standing with Raphael Tuju. It has never been in the Luo mantra that they stand with each other during this kind of time. So this is a unique moment that they have shown solidarity, and congratulations to them.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, let me take this opportunity to welcome Goodyear. Um, and he's saying hi to you. You've talked about the community coming in solidarity. I saw a post that somebody was saying this is the only business premise that the son of the soil, or the Luo from the lake has. But now, one thing that is kind of like uh, make it so much suspicious, or to get so much interest to look at it, is how this battle is a legal battle that has taken so long. Tuju has been fighting it for so long. But at some point yesterday, Tuju was saying that it's not about issue of the money, but somebody's interested in this property, you know, and
Yeah, I think in that property, it's situated somewhere in Karen. When you
yeah.
go towards Karen, it's on your right. I've been to that property when it was being developed. I think we
Mm,
were. I think we had some business there. We
mhm,
did then when it was being developed. So it's quite a huge hotel. It's a
yeah.
very very big hotel and unique in its own sense. So and there must have been a huge investment in that particular hotel. But listen,
Mhm,
Tuju says that this hotel, the kind of agreement that they had with the bank is they buy the land, they develop the hotel. All right.
yeah.
Now, in the event that they bought the land, but down the road, they did not actually give him the money to continue developing the hotel.
True.
All right. So that
Yeah.
is where the problem is. So they didn't finish their part of bargain, and they came auctioning him. So this hotel has been after so many injunctions and all that.
Yeah. Let me just play this clip.
To buy a piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
I took a loan from the bank.
Money has not been paid to the tune of however much it was, and then we're saying essentially that if you don't pay the loan, property then will be will be auctioned. That's the heart of this matter.
No.
Okay.
Can I explain to you?
Please do.
Okay. I didn't take a loan from the bank to buy a piece of property. I took a loan from the bank to do a project.
Okay.
The bank, even as a financial institution, and any bank really, will not give you a loan to buy a piece of land unless you can demonstrate
what you're going to do with it.
You're going to do with it, how you're going to pay. So the loan was given against a project document. This project document was evaluated by the bank. In fact, for that evaluation alone, I paid 4.7 million shillings, that time $50,000 US. Then they brought in KPMG, who I also had to pay that time about 2 million shillings, to test the project in terms of viability. And the KPMG also submitted a report that this project is viable. Then it went to their board. Then they approved it. They approved 1.2 billion shillings. 900 million went towards purchase of the land. 300 million was supposed to go towards the development of the project. And I was putting more money from my side, another 100 million, to go towards the project. They paid the vendor the 900 million and refused to disburse the 300 million. So it was a violation of a contract. It's like, we agree with you in simple terms that I've got some potatoes.
Yes.
I'm hiring you a lorry. When I reach Mombasa, I will sell the potatoes so that I can pay you the
Mzalendo. That's what Tuju is saying. But now, maybe I might just, I don't know whether you've, at some point when I was working in the properties, especially, I used to deal with the issue of the land. When the money was paid to the vendor and the transaction was done on the title deed, whose name was this money transferred to? The title was written on whose name, and the plot was charged to who was charged to the plot? Because like the purchase of the land with the 900, there must be what we call that encumbrances. The charge has to be on that bank. It will be indicated in the search. Secondly, what was the security? Because he says that the loan was given to the project, not the land.
I think what is basically saying is that he did a proposal that this is what I want to do.
Yes.
I don't have the money. And in the proposal, he itemized each and everything that he's going to do.
Yes.
The 900 million is going to go for the purchase of the land. And the other amount, which is not, I don't know, did he talk about the value of the project, the entire project?
No, he did not, because he just said that, okay.
No, he didn't talk. He omitted that part of the value of the project.
So, no, the value of the project, and I think like the value of the land was supposed to be 900 million, right? And there was supposed to be 300, that was 300, I mean like 3 million that was supposed to go.
300 million that was
No,
supposed to go towards the
3
development of
3 million that
the,
was go to
yes,
the,
of the hotel.
yeah. So for that, so there was the vendor was supposed to be paid in 9.
Oh,
uh,
so the vendor only, no, the bank only released 900 million, but the
yeah,
300 million was not released to Mr.
him.
Tuju. Yes.
Yes, that's according to his according to the
I think that now this is now if the bank paid the owner of the land,
yes.
then I feel that they ought to have dealt with it's called uh, the, the guy who was the contractor who was supposed to build the hotel and hand it and complete the property and hand it to Tuju.
So you see, this is what happens, and the I think like in the near future, Tuju will tell us that were you owning this land before? Yeah.
Mhm.
If he was owning this land before, then the land belonged to him. So, but if the land did not belong to him and the money that was paid to vendor was for the purchaser was going towards it was going towards the land, then the property was transferred in whose name? Because I know what can happen is this: when the bank is facilitating you to buy loan, especially in Kenya, what usually happens, there's what we call you do evaluation. Yeah. When you do evaluation, the evaluation will give the current market value of that property because you're the person buying, you know. So what happens is that they are going to pay this money to the buyer, but when it comes to the transfer of document, the document will be in your name as the owner of that land, but it will be charged to that bank particular amount. Then they will keep the lease or they will keep the title for you until you clear your payments. That's how it should be. That's how I think. But because this is a commercial, I don't know how commercial works. But there's something quite much interesting, Zalendo too, because it says that between the time the auctioning order was uplifted, within that short period of time, there's a transfer that has taken place from Tuju to the new owner. I don't know how true is that. But now my question is, how long does it take you to discharge the charge? Because there's that process. It's not something that you cannot do immediately. And you have to discharge the charge, bring it to the bank, and you pay that money. Then the conveyor, there are those who are doing conveying. They're the people who are doing to do it. But you cannot do it within a short period of time. So to me, despite the fact that it's a very legal issue that should be discussed, but there are some red flags. One of the red flags that I tell you that there's something wrong with this, or there's something quite much interesting in it, the number of police officers that were employed in that area, especially for only that one raised a flag to me. Secondly, if you listen to that interview, what Tuju has really encountered to a point whereby one time he was accused of getting some documentation or stealing that documentation from that bank, and he went to the DCI, and those claims were said that okay, he did not get them unlawfully. So there are quite a number of, I think, like there are quite much red flags that um, uh, in that property. As much as there's a legal part, but there are so many questions that need to be answered on that property, Mr. Mzalendo.
Uh, uh, the many times I've gone to the bank to borrow a loan,
Yeah.
there is to develop any kind of property, there has to be collateral.
Yes.
there is something about the collateral in this property that we are not being. The bank will not give you money just on a piece of paper.
On a project assumption, that is what mm,
So unless I don't know, but maybe a bank out there can tell us that if I come up with a good proposal, can you just give me money to do my property? There has to be my land that I'm doing that property. Remember that they had already bought the land. The bank had already bought the land on behalf of Tuju. So technically, uh, that bank, that bank should. How will the bank recover their money in
so
case
this is
Tuju defaults?
so this is how it works. When in somebody might help us. When you're purchasing a land, especially, let's say for example, Mzalendo, I've identified a property that I want to buy and I've approached my bank. They will do valuation. Yeah, because I give them that instruction. They will look for professional to do valuation of that property, to give them the open market value and the condition and the status of that.
You know the where this thing is tricky. Yeah?
Yeah,
Even if the property, the argument could be is argument for Tuju is that what you are selling is actually what you are supposed to be financing.
they finance it, and
They didn't finance it to completion.
yeah, they did not, but they bought the land. You know, they, because from Toju they paid the vendor, and when they paid the vendor, so which means there was a transfer of ownership, especially from the previous owner to Toju, if they paid that. So which means the title could now be reading the name of Raphael Tuju. And that property, that land that they bought, it should be charged on the name of the bank. But the title name reads Tuju, is Tuju's land. So then Tuju should find a way of repaying the what? The bank. So when you're done with payment, then now they discharge the charge. Then the lease is going to be given onto you. But I think there are so many things that we are not getting. We are not speculating, but like it's just like so many questions that we are asking. You know, but to me, the way, and Tuju has said that the problem is not money. Tuju can pay this money because something quite much interesting, Mzalendo, before you come in also and weigh your thoughts. I was reading somewhere again that KCB Bank had already offered to pay off the money, yeah,
Mm.
on behalf of Tuju, so that the property could be charged on their name, so that Tuju will owe them, but the other bank refused.
Mm.
That is also, those are some of the things that are there on the internet. So that's what is telling you that the issue is not the money. The issue is the property. Somebody
Mm.
needs property.
I think the issue here is the process to recover the property.
Yeah,
Uh, Whether the process followed the legal procedure, uh, that is what Tuju is challenging. Whether it was fairly done, you know, and Brother Ben, when whether Tuju actually defaulted or is what on this loan is what this dispute is all about. Now,
mm,
if you look at what the bank, the East African Development Bank, is saying,
yeah,
is that Mr. Tuju or Dari, it's called Dari Hotel or Limited,
yeah.
failed to pay on the terms that they had agreed. Now, if you fail to pay the term that you had agreed,
Mm,
then the bank has got the right to sell a property that you had used as collateral to secure your loan.
But there was a violation of contract too, because um,
Now,
because
if there is a violation of contract, then ideally,
mm,
asante
oh,
sana Ndeto,
huyu-
ideally,
Ndeta amepotea sana bana. I'm
ideally,
hosting, I'm
mm,
hosting you soon, mheshimiwa.
ideally, that is how I look at it. If there was a violation on Tuju's side, that somebody did in on both hands. Tuju is also not saying Tuju is also didn't do his part correct,
Mm.
meaning that as much as he's saying that he was just given the loan on the project, but he had collateral, which maybe the bank demanded, and that is what they was taken for auction. All right.
Okay. Okay. Let's wait on what is going to transpire on Monday, because I hope the legal team will be.
Now the who transfer on Monday, and the property has already been transferred to this other guy's name.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you, within short period of time. So that's why I was telling you. That's according to some of
Yeah,
the.
because when an auction happens, that's the end of it. Wewe unanunua, story imeisha. The
Uh,
auction, by the fall of that kengele, ding 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 ding, nani amenunua, brother Ben?
Imeenda.
Yeah, you pay within a period of time. If you have that cash, you pay it.
Na Tuju amesema watamuua pale. Wacha tuone venye mambo kutakuwa.
But
Oh,
pole sana kwa masaibu ya ya Tuju. Ni hali ya dunia. I think he will just overcome. To see a property worth billions going down and
like
somebody else. Alafu the sad part is that you know, if you live in Karen, hiyo ndio njia utapitiaga kila siku kwenda nyumbani, unaona hii ilikuwaga ni mali yangu bwana. Hiyo ndio uchungu zaidi.
uh,
Can you imagine that?
but do you think government can come in, especially to solve the situation? Because like Tuju has
I,
really.
you see, I don't know. I don't know. You know, these are independent institutions,
No,
and in
it's
independent institution, they have got a regulatory body. So unless the regulatory body says that, or the courts, that is why we have the courts. The courts can decide that this thing was done irregularly, and that guy should be returned. The Tuju should get back his property. So Tuju's life basically lies in the courts. And
okay.
maybe if the courts have got political influence like the ones that we have,
Mhm.
then he can look for you know, he can press the right buttons.
Okay. Uchukue simu upige. By the way, I saw Tienda Mall visited Tuju. Governor Wanga also was there. Babu Owino, PLO Lumumba Lodge also was there, and a lot of leaders, including Jimmy Wanjigi, also was standing with Tuju. So I think this is something that is going to get. It's getting national attention, and something can come out of it.
Yeah, unaona, hiyo ilikuwa ni shida ya wadosi. Wadosi wakipatikana na shida au wanashikana pamoja.
Mm.
Wewe na hizo manini zako bwana, upate shida leo, brother Ndeto, kwanza ni kama utang'ang'ana hapa na Gypsy Corner na brother Ndeto wakuchangie madola. Mm.
Yeah. Mheshimiwa Ndeto is asking, you need to ask who is the beneficiary, also go beyond the proxy. Yes, it
Mm.
is. It is something that, but from the look of things, Mzalendo, there are things that do happen. And did you know that, even was it like a few days? There's an issue also with a land of Nairobi Hospital, that there's somebody who wants to get
Oh, there's
Nairobi.
somebody who has disappeared, or wait, he has disappeared, or what has happened?
Doctor was arrested. At least like I don't know. I saw the news that over the same issue of Nairobi land. you know, kitu ambacho nimegundua katika nchi yetu ni kwamba labda kuna wale ambao wanaamini hakuna mtu mwenye afaa kuwe na hizo vitu kama hizo, lazima tu wa kwetu ni hao wao. Hata we mzalendo pale nyumbani kwenyu, labda tuseme kwamba mtu ameona kitu kizuri, anasema kwamba mtu kama mzalendo haufai na tutaichukua.
Si
Ah,
hata hizi vitu hata kule nyumbani zinafanyika. I mean, inaitwaga mwenye nguvu mpishe.
Sasa mpaka lini? Hizi hata ukichukua mpaka lini?
Maskini hana haki.
Maskini hana haki. All right, thank you so much. Mzalendo, we are winding up with a very interesting story that happened, that was aired today in one of the TVs, and this is something that you've also been talking about, the politics of Sangwenya and Goonism. And I was just listening to this documentary, and one of the participant that was interviewed said that some of these Sangwenya, they earn up to around 50 to around 100,000 a month, and they are also Goonism, and even now they are recruiting women. Hebu ona, si unajua hiyo ni kazi mzuri, kazi ya Sangwenya.
Wanaangalia gender.
Sasa hizi wamama pia wamesema kwamba lazima mkuje pia to balance the gender. The constitution requires that the three, is it what third? And from the documentary, it was saying that this Sangwenya thing is very rampant in Kisumu, Migori, Siaya, Kisii, and I think Homa Bay.
Mi nakwambia, ukiingia kwa siasa vile Ndeto anataka kuingia kwa siasa, lazima wacha mimi upenda nikisema story yangu, unajua
kwa sababu
mimi hizi ni vitu nimewitness mimi mwenyewe live, yani kwa hii ulingo wa siasa,
ukanyang'anywa mpaka certificate.
Unaingia pale kama wewe ni wanajiita, let me not use flower girl, let me use a more polite term. You are new or green in the politics.
Yeah.
One thing you'll be told is that you have to have bodyguards, people who are guarding you, and they are guarding you in your own village, in your own town, in your own wherever neighborhood. Lazima ukuwe na watu wale wanakuguard. Now then you'll ask, who are these people who can guard me? You'll be told that there is an ex-convict here. This guy hata juzi alikata mtu na panga sijui wapi. Yani there are people who have done vitu mbaya, yani, you know, in society. Or there are people who can fight. There are people who can fight for you. Unanielewa?
Nakuelewa.
So you recruit these people.
Yes.
You have them on your budget. These are not Sangwenyas. These are bodyguards. These are not Sangwenyas. Now, a Sangwenya in politics, for those who don't know who a Sangwenya is, Sangwenya is somebody who is in all the political camps. Yeye akipata candidate A anakulia hapo, akipanda candidate B anaongea vizuri kwa huyu, anapata candidate C anaongea huyu. Sangwenya is not very harmful. Yeye si mtu wa vita. Yeye kitu inampeleka, yeye ni fisi wa siasa. Yeah, Sangwenya ni fisi wa siasa.
Sasa unaweza sema kwamba kuna utofauti ya Sangwenya na Goon?
Yeah, kuna tofauti. Goon anarekrutiwa na Sangwenya. Goon yeye ni mtu hatachukua microphone aanze kusema political views kama zile unaona pale Jacaranda ama pale pale inaitwaje pale Jivanji. But Sangwenya ana graduate anakuwa goon. Bodyguard ana graduate anakuwa goon. No, bodyguard no, goon ana graduate anakuwa
Sangwenya.
See, alikuwa on the backyard. People like Omosh, 1 hour, kina wanaitwaje huyu, kina Gaucho, hiyo group hiyo. They graduate na wanakuwa sasa wale masangwenya. Kuna ule Sangwenya tunamuita Sangwenya Imbo, Sangwenya Pro. Sangwenya Pro is like my late cousin. Yeye alikuwa na namba ya wanasiasa wote Nyanza. Na huyu ni mtu ambaye hakuenda shule vizuri, lakini anajua kuandika, lakini hizo namba ako nazo kwa kichwa. Ukimwambia hebu nisaidie na namba ya John Mbadi, piga 0722 bla bla bla, nisaidie na Gladys Wanga, anakuambia offered, angekuna na ana simu.
Sasa ni Sangwenya
pia wengi wao hana simu. anatumia simu yako, anatumia simu yako kupigia hawa watu. Ndio maana hauwezi wapata. Anakuomba simu apigie mwanasiasa mwingine. Now, so yeye ni mtu ambaye anakula kwa watu wote. Anaongea juu ya mwanasiasa ule anamshabiki wakati huo. Na yeye motisha yake ni ile hela anapewa.
Lakini sasa mzalendo, wacha nikuulize, tunaelekea wapi? Kwa sababu tunaona mambo kama the Goonism na mambo ya Sangwenya ni kama inataka kutawala siasa zetu. Unadhani?
Unaona, wacha ni jibu hii ndio ni kujibu tio swali, naelejua mahali naelekea. Mzalendo, how powerful is a goon? Are they not human beings? No, goons are human beings. The only thing is that they are protected by the system. Whoever system that is using them, they are protecting them. That is why you find them marching alongside with the police officers. Wamebeba marungu. Wewe hebu enda ujaribu ati wewe ni goon, ati umebeba masheti pale CBD, ati mimi ni goon, without a political backing, utawekwa ndani. Now, what you are asking is, where is this politics taking us? This is the politics that is taking us to places like Haiti, where there's no rule of law. The rule is the rule of the jungle. And when leaders are embracing such characters, that is where the problem is. If political parties are using these young men and women to propagate their agenda and to intimidate, that is dangerous. Politicians ought to sell their policies. And now they have gone to an extent where even civil servants who are on taxpayers' payroll are using these goons to pass a message to their opponents. You know, it is that we have gone so low in our politics that we are using these characters to propagate and to intimidate, and to an extent to even kill opponents.
But do you think those who are buying out, or those are the purchasing these services, and there are people who have been given the mandates to lead the country, do they have a sense of seeing that in future we are not having a country? Because there's something that Emilio Diambo wrote us. You answer that. I will read it for you. Do they have the country in future, or it's all about them?
You know, politicians think about their future. A goon thinks about that moment. That moment. And a goon, if a politician is using a goon and having them on their payroll, So long as the politicians remains in power, the goon remains also in power. You understand? Unless they jump to the next candidate. But so long as they are oiled properly, yeah, they will always remain relevant to the politician. And most of them are feared. These are people who are feared in the estates. They are feared in the villages. They have done very bad things, and they are kind of above the law. And the police know them. Uh, we have got gangs that operate in places like Kisumu, and you know them. You've been in Kisumu. I know you might be very afraid to mention some of those gangs, but they are there. In Kisumu, you know them. There are more than 3 or 4 gangs that are operating in Kisumu. If you go to Kisii, there is a gang that is operating in Kisumu, controlled by politicians. If you go to Nairobi, the same. And this thing started with the Moi era. Moi introduced something called Jeshi la Mzee. Jeshi la Mzee, I remember one time with my better half, we were going to take a bus, the country bus, and we had just come. We are going. It was late in the night, around 9 p.m. We are going to Kisumu, and it was one of those late night buses. So this makangas, I don't know, jeshi la mzee and all, they come approaching us, hey, hiyo bag sijui na ni usiku pale country bus. So we are fighting, making sure that we get into the bus and these bags are not stolen from us. So we get into the bus, and all of a sudden we are finding ourselves like only like 3-4 passengers in the bus are heading to Kisumu with some goons, almost 20 of them seated at the back, insulting us and trying to take whatever that belongs to us. But it was a fight. It was a fight at which they didn't win at the end of the day. So the goons
Okay.
existed. They have existed for a very long time, and they have been protected by powerful politicians.
Okay, this is what Millie Odhiambo wrote. I'm happy to see leaders coming out in solidarity with the Tuju. No, let me read for you. No, that one. There's another one here that I'm missing it. Let me just look for it. He was talking about. She wrote something about the goons and what happened to Nyakera, especially in Kisumu, whereby um, quite a number of young men storm in his hotel and gain access, and
Oh,
talking
that
about
the Kikuyu investor.
yes, so yeah, so this is what Millie Odhiambo wrote 2 days ago, that the rise of gangster culture tolerated by authority will haunt Kenya. 100 gangsters were used to try and evict a businessman from premises in Kisumu. Similar gangsters were used to hound on Tuju yesterday. Soon, like Haiti, we might need other nations to assist us deal with gangster. That's the leader speaking.
Yeah. Because what they lack is just arms. If they can be properly armed, and the politicians, they want to stay in power. These are people who are easily. Can you imagine having gangsters in Nyanza joining hands with gangsters from Kericho and gangsters from Kisi, and they are forming their own group. And
Yeah.
you remember there was also the Mungiki menace at some point.
Yes.
That those were gangs which the state could not control, unless if Michuki, if you didn't have a guy like Michuki, then yeah, these guys would have terrorized each and every part of the country. Mm. And they
Okay.
were soon spreading their tentacles in other regions. Yeah.
So what when you look at what is happening, because like even for Kisumu, I don't think we've had any arrest that has been made on what happened. There was no arrest until today. Maybe I will check out with
There will be no arrest. The goon leader is in government, is in the
and
province.
and
Mm.
there were videos that were captured the young men who entered the hotel of Nyakera, and
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Ben. It's very unfortunate. We might be joking and talking about, but this is very sad. Mm?
yeah, if how will you bring it? How will you bring it? How
Well,
will you?
Mato bana, mi nakwambia, if you go to Nairobi today, ukiibiwa, unaibiwa hapo live. Watu wanapita tu.
You know,
Watu wanapita, they don't even care. They don't
Mzalendo,
even.
you know what happens even today, and this is even what happening with Raphael Tuju. Uh, Raphael Tuju was saying that the police officers did not have any court order. That is one, and Tuju also say that the order came from above.
Mm. Sasa unajua order kama imetoka huko juu.
Utadu.
We are a third world country bwana. Unajua we sometimes
And
tunajifanya we are a third world you don't forget we are a third world country.
you
We
know, like
yani
like
hii ni nchi ambayo pesa ya msaada inapelekwa pole Garissa na chief anakula na watu wanakufa njaa pale. Eh?
unajua
Chakula ya msaada anauza. Hii
leo
nimeletewa lakini mimi nitawauzia. Ameipata bure lakini anauza.
I don't know, Mzalendo, unajua leo tulikuwa tunazika pale hapa katika kaunti yetu ya Kisumu, tulikuwa tunazika pilot
Mm.
mwenye alikuwa
Wale
na
Todera.
ehe,
Mm.
viongozi walikuja, Martha Karua alikuja, Eugene akaaja na wakaongea vizuri, lakini kuna jambo moja ambayo nilisikia pale,
Mm.
nikasikia Raymond Omolo, Arun Cheruyot na Oscar Sudi.
Mm.
Kwa mujibu ya Raymond Omolo alisema, namnukuu, alisema watachanga 10 million ndio watoto waende shule. Watachanga.
Mm.
It's a very good gesture and we are very grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have long-term solution for things to do with education so that we do not contribute, especially if there are people or their families whom their loved one cannot manage to be pilots, and they're missing out in school. Do we have like a long-term solution and make it is that like every Kenyan has a right, whether you've lost your father or you've not lost your father, you have to go to school?
Today in the morning, when I was just going about my usual, someone sent me a WhatsApp message. It's a lady. She sent me a message, and let me look at it. Yeah. Just going about my usual morning when a text popped up on my phone.
Yes.
For a minute, I didn't know who she was, but to cut the story short, the mom had asked for assistance many years ago. That is 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
to help their daughter join college. This was our message this morning. Hey, hi, this is Sharon Otieno. I am Sharon, daughter of the late Walter.
Mm-hmm.
You contributed towards my education 4 years ago when I wanted to join Kabete National Polytechnic.
Yeah.
Uh, I have graduated with a diploma in project management.
Mm-hmm.
Then I told her that was wonderful to hear. Thank you for the appreciation. I honestly couldn't remember that moment, but it truly means a lot. Over years, I've tried to support many of my students, uh, though in a rare occurrence they come back to say thank you. Now,
Mhm.
this is a kid who was an orphan, and that is many years ago. When you talk about education and how you can support, especially widows who are like now the widow of Odera.
Mhm.
Luckily, the husband was a pilot, and prominent people came to the assistance of the family.
Yeah.
But many families out there,
Mhm.
they don't really get that kind of opportunity.
Opportunity. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what.
they don't get that kind of opportunity. Ben, I can tell you, they are very sad stories. Uh, when you hear them, sometimes you shed tears. When I was doing my politics, there was a time I went to the village just to find out how come in my village. Have you ever wondered in your village how come you don't have children who are disabled? Can you count the number of children who are disabled in your village?
Yeah.
Do you know? Do they go to school?
No, live about them going to school. Do
Now,
they?
let me finish. Then you can
Yeah.
add that. You can add that story. Now, I was shocked that many families have got children who are disabled and they are in the homes. Some of them were paralyzed when they were born with the healthy going school going children that at some point they got polio
Mhm.
and they could not walk again, or they had some nervous disease and they could not walk again. So their parents have decided to keep them and lock them in the homes. They don't go to school.
Yeah.
This kid, every other time, the brothers and sisters,
Mhm.
they come. hmm? The
Mhm.
brothers and sisters come with books. Wanaona ametoka shule, yeye awezi, yeye ni
Eh,
mlemavu, hata
mm,
wheelchair ana
mm.
wheelchair ya kuenda hata msalani. The schools in the village, they are not even built to accommodate children with disability. Zero. No leader even talks about that. First of
Live
all, no leader talks about children living with disability going to school. That is not even within their. They don't even
purview.
have a thought. Yeah.
Live about that. There was a time I did a documentary with some other women, especially in Kisumu. And these women, they've come together. Their children they're in the spectrum of autism. And even to take them to school, they do not have school where they can. We only have one school in Kisumu, and this is the Joyland. And this is a combination of all. It's just a disabled school, and even if you look at how they're being treated or how they are being taken care of, especially go
It
to the
is sad.
ministry.
It is
Even
sad.
forget about that. Even ask the ministries that we have, the current ministry that we have right now. What is the place of the disabled children, especially in our educational system? Talking about autism, what is uh, what is the stake? Do they even have funding in terms of, do they have education? Do they have people who are offering them therapy? You know, and one thing that also we came to learn during that documentary, it took a mother um, almost 4 years to realize that his child was in the spectrum.
Mm.
I did a
Mm.
documentary in Kisumu, and the
Yeah.
Kisumu women warriors.
Can you imagine? Those are things that are happening, and then when you see these leaders jumping up and down,
And
and the same mothers who are having children with disability, They are in these political convoys and they cannot even ask for one basic thing. Let me
They,
tell you what I did
yeah.
as a solution, because I don't just talk.
Mm,
Ukiniona hapa siongeagi tu.
mm,
I had a program that I was collecting all the crutches and wheelchairs and taking them back in my village for the children who are living with disability. And they benefited a lot, and some of them could now walk, and some of them could now roll on the wheelchairs and do their business, go about their businesses. Now I was in the phase of trying to identify what else can we do to help these children. Can they still go back to school?
yes, they can.
What is the government, or what is the county government doing to children living with disability? Then you realize that there are millions, over 200, 400 million kept aside for children with disability that don't even reach them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Inakulwa na our able politicians.
You know, Mzalendo, it is quite much disappointing to to even imagine that even during the devolution that we are talking about dispersing the funds, even to the educational sector, even to the county government, none of the county government, if you go on to their programs, none of them talks about children with disability. None. None of them talks about the children with disability. And no any other reason. And I think even as media fraternity, I think we've not done so much, especially when it comes to, especially when these leaders they come for interview. We just ask them about the political affiliation and the coalition and the bargaining pact that they're going to do. But issues to do with the place of children with disability, especially when you look at the educational sector, it is not in their place. That is something that actually I'm planning to do part 2 of that documentary and at least follow it with some government officials in the Kisumu County.
Yeah, that
I
would
will,
be.
I will do it.
Mhm.
Let me just organize myself. We will have to do it, especially even to have a one-on-one conversation with these leaders um, about the place of the children with disability, especially in the society and especially in the government. Nobody talks about that. I told you in Kisumu, if you look at it, is only in Joyland. I think it's called Joyland. It's a school next to Kisumu Day. Yeah, around Kisumu Day, Poly, around there. There's that school of children with disability. But
Yeah, these schools have been there, but you see, they are not enough. The population is growing, and they cannot accommodate everyone. So, so they need to. The government needs to come in and build more schools.
and another thing also they should also do, they should be integrated. You cannot say like this is a school for the, on how, sometimes you need to disintegrate some of
You
the
see, and they are mixing children living with children with autism, children with various complications. They are being clustered together, and these children, the others with the uh, serious mental illnesses, that they cannot be with other children. They need to be on medication, and I wonder whether back in the village they follow that procedure, or who is even the caregiver. They're called
no,
the
the caregivers,
the social
the,
worker, the
the social
social
work. No, I
the
don't
social
think
work,
I don't.
each and every county government has a social worker, or the social worker office. I don't know, the social worker. It's called a It's a department. Social work something.
But by the way, there is especially this is something that I've always said, especially in Migori. I've gotten keen interest on, especially those who are going to vie for women rep position. But I've always advocated for Sheila Olang. One is that
Oh,
Sheila Olang,
Sheila will win. Sheila is
Yeah.
mature.
By
She's
the way,
way
I
above, intelligent. She's articulate. She knows what she wants to do.
and that is somebody I say that it is something that the people of Migori, especially when it comes to the women rep position, I think Sheila is best suited for that because one, she's very intelligent, especially.
And Sheila's dad was the former MP
Yeah,
for.
but I think she's so much intelligence, especially when it comes to things to do with economics. And another thing that I know, she's not a praise worship team. She's very independent in her thought, in her thinking. And I say that people of Migori wasitulet down
Uh,
na mambo kutuletea
Utaambiwa wapige 3 piece, then unachanganisha ujinga.
wapige three piece.
Wale wamama wanakula dance kwa floor wakionyesha what the God gave them.
And ukisikia maneno yenye wanasema, I tell you
That's
sometimes.
I was just writing an article about that today, that there should be a bill in parliament that regulates these politicians what they say in public. These politicians have got some kind of impunity. They can say anything and they are not reprimanded. Now parliament, unaona kama mali huko sahi, brother Ben,
Mhm,
if you are a senator or a congressman or woman, you go say a lot of rubbish in public,
mhm.
it will be brought on the floor and you will be asked questions. Why did you say this? What do you really mean by saying this kind of nonsense? So the parliament should be busy trying to cancel those leaders who have got basically nothing or to say apart from tribal rhetorics.
Live about tribal rhetoric. I tell you,
Even
there's one insult. There's one particular MP from from Homa Bay County. This lady.
who's her name? Lillian.
Ah!
So that is a selling point. They should be brought up should be brought in parliament
How
and
could you?
repeat what you said and what did you really mean with what you said there.
And they do not even have shame. They said it. They're
Nah,
saying it before children.
they say it before children, they say it before their fathers, they say it anywhere. They have not Politicians in Kenya are rotten.
And that is their punchline. By the way,
Mhm.
when they are finishing, that is how they
Sasa hiyo
finish their speech.
mtu akiongea juu ya sex ama nini ati amedrop mic. That is why ati ameongea point, yani ni point ingine, yani we need to take it home, yani ameongea.
Okay, Mzalendo, we are past our time. Thank you so much for joining, and Vivian Akinyi, thank you so much for joining. Mzale, Mr. Ndeto, I'm looking for you. I need to host you so you can come and debunk the issue of Goonism and all that, and you have to tell us whether the aspiration of Vine.
Even Mato, I told him to call me, he's not a call me. Mato, nipigie simu bwana, wacha hiyo ujinga tafadhali.
Okay.
Na pia na mimi nataka kumaliza kusema hivi, Arsenali tuko na point ngapi sahi?
9 points.
Sabini.
No, I'm saying you are ahead with 9 points because you won today. Man City was held draw.
To a 1-1 draw.
So which means Arsenal has to win another 4 games. Then they will be safe.
No, hizo game zote tunashinda. We said that before the league ends. Before the league ends, tutabaki na game 4 kama tumeshachukua league. Na maajabu ile ilifanyika leo ni hata watoto tunawachezesha. We break records. Hata watoto wadogo kidogo tutaanza kucheza 8 year old. Game yetu ya mwisho tutacheza 8 year old,
The 16-year
9
boy,
old
the
Arsenal
16-year
player.
boy who scored 2 goals. The youngest
No,
in
the
Premier League.
youngest player who scored 2 goals today is a 16. Is a high schooler.
Is
Is
the high
in
school.
grade 9 term 2. Grade 9 term 2. Arsenal ni academy bwana. Hii ni team kubwa. I hope Baba is watching in heaven how the team is doing so well.
Okay, let me see. Mzalendo, I'll call you soon. The show is over. Okay, I'm ending the show. Mr. Mzalendo, thank you so much and may God bless you. See you tomorrow.